Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
It is the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, your destination for all things gardening. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, now with over 896 videos, short and long format, all to help you, all for enjoyment and educational, and just watch somebody garden if you want.
On the way.
So let's talk about cucumbers, because most of us, I haven't talked to too many people, and the first thing I ask, do you like cucumbers? Most people like cucumbers in some form or fashion, whether cucumber water, pickling them, making pickles out of them, or eating them fresh. Some people also juice them. Well, we grow a variety of different cucumbers in our garden. We will be planting them today. We have 10 different varieties that we grow, and to some of you that might seem excessive. To others that might seem not very many. But we've got some very rare varieties from M.I. Gardener. We've got some not-so-rare varieties. Holly's going to go over just name a few of them and the purpose of them. Then we're going to talk real briefly on the planting and planting techniques on how to grow these things.
So we grow lemon cucumbers, they're neat little cucumbers. They're yellow.
They look like little baseballs. And you don't see them in the store because they have a very short shelf life. You'll see them at farmers markets, but not in the convenient grocery store.
And they do... I wouldn't say they taste like lemons.
There's a little more sweetness to them.
No, it's a little more tartness.
Oh, tartness,
yeah.
Yes, tartness.
Yeah, so those are kind of fun to grow. And then we have...
And it messes people up when they see them.
Right, because they're like, what are those?
What are those? Conversation piece, yeah.
So then we have the little potato cucumber. That's new to us. It really does kind of look like a potato.
But when you cut it open, it has the fragrance or the taste of a cucumber.
Right.
It's a rare variety that we're growing.
And then for pickling, we grow some regular pickling cucumbers, which is
Boston
pickling, but we're going to grow these. They're called Wisconsin SMR pickling.
Anytime Holly sees a Wisconsin variety,
shut up.
She always wants to grab it. Yeah.
And it says it for a reason.
I know.
Then there's a White Wonder cucumber, and it is a white cucumber.
It's a white cucumber, and we've been advised that those are very good for eating. Do not pickle them. Do not try to can them, because the quote from M.I. Gardener, they look like elephant toes whenever you pickle them because they turn very gray.
Tasty.
But we're going to eat them raw, or you can actually juice them. It works either way.
So then we have the Armenian yard-long cucumber, and they're supposed to get a yard long, so we'll have to find out. Hopefully they don't get too
heavy,
woody
or heavy. Well, they won't get woody. They're going to get heavy if we grow them on the trellis.
Right.
There's a lot of weight on a 30 yard long bean.
And then there's these alpha cucumbers. They look like those English seedless cucumbers to me, but supposedly they're supposed to be really refreshing.
So the number one key when it comes to growing cucumbers and most varieties of vegetables and fruits is we need full sun. We need good soil, and we need full sun. So we've got full sun where we're going to plant these. And if you want to find more information, you can visit the website 7 p.m. Tuesday night, where we'll have our weekly video on all of this, on growing cucumbers, peppers, as well as planting the yacons. But let's talk here. Full sun, good and rich soil, worked the soil, loose soil. You don't want to plant these in clay soil because it doesn't work, because the roots have to have places to expand and grow.
Right.
So you want to plant these. The package says about a foot apart. We really, realistically, we go 6 inches apart, 6 to 8 inches, because we intensive plant. We cram more in because we got good enriched soil. We know the plants can sustain themselves, and sometimes, based on the article that you read, and there's a lot of information out there, you can fertilize these halfway through or every 2 to 3 weeks. During the growing season, they'll take 55 to 70 days for most cucumbers to reach a mature, blooming, fruiting state.
So if you are in the city and you don't have a lot of space, you can definitely trellis your cucumbers. I think it's a good idea to trellis any crop that you possibly can. It gets it off the ground.
You can see it.
You can see it. You can see any problems that may come up.
And you don't have that one cucumber that you've missed 3 weeks ago, and it's a humongous mass and it's no good. It's all bitter because it's gone to seed.
Right. And
with these cucumbers, and I've told this story multiple times on the program, if you're going to grow something, you have to continually harvest, or the plant will go into a seed production state and stop producing fruit once it's got a fruit or bean that has reached a state of mature seeds. It'll shut the plant down because that's its goal. It's not to feed you. It's to carry on the traits for the following generations.
Right. So you have that. And then you also want to, if you have problems with your cucumbers starting out funny and you get these oddly shaped cucumbers, or you have ones that kind of have a point on the end.
Tapered point.
Like a tapered point. For one, you want to make sure you're consistently watering cucumbers, and you want to make sure you have good nutrients in your soil. It's always important, no matter what you're growing. But also, you are having a possible lack of pollination. What happens with the plants are only growing because they want to survive. That's their purpose. They're not growing because we want to eat them. That's not their scientific makeup. So when the cucumbers are growing, they're going to put out some male flowers, and these are tester flowers. They're going to see if there's active pollination.
And you'll see the male flowers will come out about a week to 2 weeks before the female flowers, and they'll just be a stem with a flower on it. The female flowers later will come out, and you'll see the little fruit behind the flower will be attached to. So that's the differentiation between the two.
Right. So it's the first set of flowers that come out on the cucumber plant, and so it's testing for pollination. If there's good pollination in the area, those cucumbers are going to put on a lot more female flowers in the next couple of weeks. If there's not, then they're going to put on very few. And that's why a lot of people have problems with getting kind of funny looking cucumbers, is because your plant is only doing what it needs to do to survive and feel like it's going to reproduce. So what you can do is you can go to each one of those flowers, take your finger to it and just tap it, so that cucumber thinks that it's getting pollinated.
And you can also bring pollinators in. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago in the program, pollinators that are other than bees, but plant flowers in your garden to attract these beneficial pollinators, beneficial insects in that will help get these fruits and vegetables to pollinate better. Some of them are self-pollinating. Cucumbers are not. There are some varieties of cucumbers which are self-pollinating, but the majority of them have to have a pollination process that occurs in them.
So just keep that in mind, that you have to think about how your plants are growing sometimes, and in that case, pollinators are good for everything in your garden, and it's not a bad thing to bring in things to attract those pollinators. So
full sun, enriched soil, we plant them 6 to 8 inches apart. You can the back of the package says a foot. You want to keep them. We recommend mulching to prevent soil splash up on the leaves. One problem you will get later on in the season is powdery mildew, and that's because the moisture on the leaves are not drying out, and a mold is forming, or a mildew is forming that actually hinders the growth and actually can suffocate the plant out and kill it. Some people will say, what is it, at the end of August, early September, their plants begin to die out.
That's just the life cycle of the cucumber. They're not like where tomatoes are going to keep growing until it, vine tomatoes are going to keep growing until it frosts or freezes. Cucumbers have a certain life cycle, and then that's about it.
If you want to prolong, plant them, for example, today, wait until about the 3rd week in June, plant another amount of cucumbers, so you have a continual harvest. And, a cucumber plant, we had, I don't know how many cucumbers, a cucumber plant will produce a plenty of cucumbers for a family of 4 if you're just going to go with strictly eating them. If you're going to go with pickling them, that's why we plant so many varieties and so mass quantities of them, because you can pickle them. You can also make cucumber relish, which we have chosen to focus on zucchini relish. We find that to be much more tasty than the cucumber relish.
Right. But you can make sweet cucumber pickles.
Right. But we want to mulch them.
Yeah, right.
And full sun and trellising if possible. And you don't have to worry about how warm the soil is. You can go ahead and plant them now; they'll be fine. If you do want to be concerned with that, you need the soil to be about 60 degrees or ish, really on the safe side. But plant them today; they'll be fine without any problems. So you got to keep some things in mind. You just can't just throw seeds in the ground and expect things to grow. Some of these things need a little finesse and a little upfront work, just like anything in life. If you're in the Milwaukee or surrounding areas, just tune your radio to 860 AM or FM 106.5. You can also find links on our Facebook pages, The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener and Home Canning. Our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, click on the radio tab at the top of the page, then click on the Listen Live button, and you'll have immediately access to our live program. Mobile devices work very well also. Go to your app store and download for free the TuneIn app or the Simple Radio app. Then search WNOV 860, save it to your favorites, and you can have access to our radio show live wherever you're at in the world. Our radio program will also have podcast replay under the radio tab several days following the live broadcast. You can find all of these links in the show notes below. Our show airs 9 to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every Saturday, March through the end of October. And we want to thank our sponsors because without them, this would not be anywhere possible. You can find all of their links under the radio tab on our website at thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.